president. Now, we know you've been going around the country, not just granting interviews, you've been engaging the various stakeholders. How's the whole listening tour and your tour around the country been?
Well, first of all, I wanted to do something completely different from what the existing geopolies have been doing, when it comes to campaigning. And of course, in the business world, campaign simply means to us marketing, how to market yourself to the people to understand you. And I thought that one of the best things to start with was to tour around the 16 region as a listening tour and listen to the people. And of course, that was some sort of incredible adventure. And I would have probably not known a lot than I do now if I didn't make that move. So I thought it was a great decision to have taken. The regions are quite different, and it clearly tells you what Ghana is and what Ghana is going through and what Ghana can become.
Let's look at what you heard from the people. You say if you didn't embark on this tour, you didn't have known the things you know now. What is it that you know? What did the people tell you?
Well, the main reason for the tour, one, was to research the regions, to see their capacity, their ability. But before we embarked on that journey, we had already done the research about the regions' value in terms of what they have in minerals and commodities, farming and resources. And it was quite a lot, hefty amount of money. So I personally also wanted to find out why are these things not being materialized and implemented to create wealth and jobs for Ghanaians, and why are we going through what we're going through. So I already had some serious research to do, when I went on that journey. But then when I got there and I started to listen to people, I realized that almost every region had a little bit different culture, but almost every region had one need. Almost all of them, and that was jobs. But before I went, I also realized that if I could make Ghana a better place, it's because I'm able to activate. The only region that I see that is more active in the country is Accra. The rest is just closed, it's doomed. Maybe some 1 or 2 or 3 multinational companies will be there, but they don't actually have an economy. They don't live like Accra people are living. And even Accra, you have people coming from Nsawam traveling all the way because they're searching for fortunes in Accra. So it's kind of choked and overpacked. But being in these regions, some of the things that I realized was that every region that we went to, going to Tamale was the first time, I got to understand that why before we landed on the plane, I saw like bare land. It was empty, but part of it was looking brown like dry grass, but part of it was black patches in it. And I didn't see where the black patches were coming from. I wanted to know what had happened. But when I finally landed and was driving around, whilst I was there, I got the inspiration of water bodies are not connected. And so the climate is just heat. In fact, the inspiration became more and more when I got to Boliga, and that was like the wind was blowing but with heat, and I haven't seen anything like that. It was like you're standing in some kind of factory with a machine that is bringing a lot of heat, and there's wind also blowing at the same time. And I was wondering, what are these people going to do 7 years from now, because it's going to get worse. And climate control is something that we need to we went to Upper East,
Okay.
Navrongo, and then after we were supposed to go to Upper East, yes, after we were supposed to go to Upper West, which is Wa and Savannah, but because of the fasting, we had to postpone those 2 regions.
Okay.
And then we went to Goso.
Okay. We'll talk about, the whole idea about water and everything. But you talked about the regions being, apart from Accra, the others are doomed. When you say they are doomed, what do you mean?
They don't have any economy. They don't have
Not
life.
even in the Ashanti region?
Ashanti region. I mean, come on. It's all. If you look at what comes out of Ashanti region and you look at the lifestyle, it's like 5% of it or 10% of it. You know, I went to the market in Ashanti region, and most women, they were putting their clothes on the floor for me to walk on. I mean, it was so touching to see people even looking at a young man like me, and they said, "Look, we want change. We've been sitting in the sun for 8 years. Look at my skin." And there is a market there. They've never opened it for us. They can't expand us. They can't help us. People are struggling in Ghana, Winston. It's difficult for people. I mean, look, there's a young guy that asked me a question when I was in Tamale. And when he was coming on stage, they were trying to stop him because he's like 13 years old. And, you know, but I said, let him come. So he came. And then he spoke in his language and someone had to translate it. In his own words, he said that he goes to school, but he's scared. He's scared because he doesn't think he will get the best of education, and then if he does, he doesn't think he will get a job. This is a 13-year-old thinking this way. So you should know that if that kind of age that hasn't come of age yet to see what life is about are thinking this way, then the country is really gone down. There's a whole lot of issue. And Tamale is dry. You can almost count some of the buildings there, and you know, with silver sheets, and it's gonna bring more heat into the room. You barely see electricity there. On the way to Boliga, there was only one water I saw, and I thought, okay, I've seen water, and it was brown, it was poisoned, it was galamsey, it was destroyed, you know. So I think you have to go to these places and really see how the people, what are they looking for, what are they doing with themselves, and you're going to realize that the only time they harvest their cocoa is when maybe there is political campaigns. That's when people go around and give them t-shirts and give them some money, you know. So it's not developed, and this is a reality. We have to be realistic with this reality, that what are we going to do to make our people's lives become better? And I can definitely see that if there were even 4 or 5 plants in this place, and there is some sort of logistics, there is going to be a great economy circulating. But I met a lot of chiefs, queens and kings, you know, and one of them told me that sometimes people have to come and surround the palace. He has to help them with chop money. If I can bring jobs, I would be he'll kiss me, basically, you know, because he's the king and he feels for the people. But we as a country, we haven't been able to build these regions. In fact, I saw a factory in Goso, and I saw timber logs, like the things I used to see in Kumasi, but I don't know, I'm sure they've cut all the wood, you know. So I was seeing it in Goso, and I thought that was so old school to carry logs on the track, you know, because I hadn't seen it in a while. But I saw a plywood factory. And I'm a builder, I'm a developer, so I buy a lot of plywood. It's like 200 and something cities for one. But the factory was there, meaning that a lot of plywood was coming from there. So I quickly did research, and I realized that it belonged to some outsider who has just come to put it there and creating the plywood there. So he might have created jobs for maybe 100 or 200 people, but he's extracting millions of dollars from the land, and it's not to our benefit, you know. So these are the things that I believe that the idea of industrialization would change the country completely, would create jobs, would create revenue, and then economic stability, economic balance, economic prosperity. We will start to have a national booming economy.